Alrighty, we have got some incredible runs coming up for you. Starting off right now with this Final Fantasy V Career Day Beat Neo Extet run. Um, Hope you're all looking forward to it as much as I do. So without further ado, I'm going to be quiet and toss you over to our wonderful racer today, Fiery Blizzard.
Thanks, Psycho, and good morning for those of us in the US, good afternoon for those of you in Europe, and good evening for those of us elsewhere. I'm joined today by my two lovely commentators, Infinius and Judge Joe, who I am going to toss it off to them as I get the seed started. So take it away, guys.
Thanks, Fari. Yeah. So this is going to be Final Fantasy V Career Day. So we're going to this is another open world randomizer that we're going. As you see, we're going to be moving quite quickly as we're going to open a whole bunch of boxes. This we is this a Forge of Fiesta mode?
It is not.
It is not. So we can. Okay, so in that case, because it's not Forge of Fiesta, we can find jobs, we can find abilities, we can find basically anything. I'm sure we could even, if we get lucky enough, find a chicken knife and a brave blade. Words are hard. Yeah. So, but we're just going to start with opening looting. Just want to find the bit of gear that'll help us power through early game and get those early checks through. So I'm just here more as because I said yes to this apparently. I'll leave it to Joe to be able to talk through more of the in-depth knowledge stuff. I'm just here to act like I know stuff.
Hello. So because we are not in 4-job mode, all 4 of our characters will start with one randomly picked selection from all of the jobs in the entire seed. We could be a knight, we could be a mystic knight in this case, which has some incredibly powerful tools in its kit, but until we pick up those spells, it's mostly just a fairly well-statted class to get the run started.
So we're just in that case, I guess we're looking for those elemental free spells, break blade, flare blade. In that case,
yes. Any of those spells or some alternative early game damage abilities will be the main stuff to get us running. Even though they aren't powerful and will fall off fast, Dragon Sword, Geo, animals, there's a variety of ways. Even just a good sword that the Mystic Knight can wield will help us start defeating the various bosses that are shuffled throughout the locations. So currently we don't have much, but a lot of this early game doesn't take too much, so hopefully we'll be able to find something sooner rather than later. In addition to because it's an open world randomizer, our method to unlock future checks is via key items, which can be found in all of the main story boss checks. So you start with a wide amount of early game locations available, but future ones will only be unlocked after you get the specific key items for them.
Okay, so seeing that shop there, we could have actually bought, was it the Thief Crystal and the Trainer Crystal? Would those have been things that we'd want to have looked to purchase?
Job-wise, Trainer more than Thief has a bit of utilizations with whips as a weapon, in addition to catching can on occasion be useful. However, in most cases we'll find some simpler ways to either insta-kill various bosses or do incredibly large amounts of damage is the goal power-wise. Also, as we've been going through these towns and looting, you might have noticed us talking to a couple different NPCs. There are 15 NPC hints which will help guide us on our way to finding what we need to beat the game. Which, speaking of that, what do we need to beat the game in Phineas?
So we need to find ourselves 4 tablets. They could be mostly anywhere, but if we are able to, once we get those 4 tablets, well, first of all, we can get some good gear in the what's it castle's name? I forget. It's the place that's all been sealed up. But in addition, we need to get all 4 tablets. We can then make our way through the void and go fight a tree. So far, in terms of the hints we found, I think we saw that the waltz key is in World 2, and I think it was the steam. I forget which order it was, but it was either the Hurry's call was had the steamship key or the other way around. It went by too quickly for me.
The first one.
Okay.
Yeah, the various types of hints are divided into different categories. There will be world hints, so it'll just tell you there's an item in a specific world, which is divided into world 1, 2, and 3. There will be direct hints, which will just tell you an item is at a specific location. And then there will be path to the void hints, which guide us along our way more directly. Every path to the void hint will give us at least one required key item on our way to beating the game. In addition to collecting the tablets, we are going to need to get access to World 3, which, if this is a World 1, Lock Seed requires the Adamantite for World 2 and the Anti-Barrier and Bracelet to unlock access through Exdeath's castle, where you fight Castle Exdeath for no key item checks, but simply the ability to enter World 3 with the various tablet dungeons of vanilla, or along with a couple other checks and the void.
So I kind of hope I know. So we've also picked up some very interesting abilities. We picked up was it Flash, and we also picked up animals, which you mentioned earlier. Why are they relevant for the randomizer?
So Slash is the more likely to be used later on ability. It is one of the various forms of instant death that we can inflict on various bosses. Instant death in Final Fantasy V can be divided into 3 categories. Doom, so weakness to death, various spells inflicting the Doom status. Break, so where you can turn the enemies to stone, or their enemies will have a classification of essentially heavy or non-heavy. Non-heavy enemies in this game, Slash is one method of instant killing those, along with, say, Odin will do Xantasuken for a kill on all non-heavy enemies. But also you can do various things, such as various time magic, such as Demi or Quarter, to heavily reduce their health, or the blue magic Death Claw will reduce them to single-digit HP.
Forgot to do this the first time.
So why are we? Is this just for the piano?
Absolutely. Gotta do piano flexing early in the morning.
Fair
It's
enough.
always a
fair
little
enough.
bit of fun to add in the pianos to the seed. But animals, it is a hunter or ranger ability, depending on the various translations, and it does various things throughout the levels, but early on, it will most likely just do squirrels, which will do about 100 to 200 damage, which, while not much, is our first way to get through deal real amounts of damage to start fighting these early game bosses. Hopefully we get something single target.
Yeah, we'll see. You will see. Yeah,
Okay,
the
so-
most interesting one actually pick up was the trainer job crystal is very interesting because you can farm dark matters from prototypes with that, and that gives you a whole bunch of money as well. Well, this should work.
Well, gargoyle is interesting because usually in the vanilla game, you'd have to try to take them out all at the same time.
I mentioned we can get squirrels. We can also get rabbits at this early level, but as you can see, squirrels did 170, which, thanks to the split HP, is enough. But because of the gargoyles' resurrection, if they aren't both dead, you have to get 2 squirrels in a row before they revive. Which, there we go. First boss down, first key item, and this is where you get your first 6 jobs in the vanilla game. But rather than getting jobs, we'll simply be getting 6 mid-tier item checks from the job crystal, which they can be jobs, they could be abilities, they can be magic, they could be items. Pretty much anything except a key item can come from these checks and will hopefully give us a little bit more.
No.
Equip bows?
You can equip bows. That's something, right?
Sure, we'll go with that.
I mean, I don't know that we have any good bows, but we can equip them.
I sold them, and they weren't even good to begin with.
Well,
So that's
there's
minor
still a couple more
detail.
checks before the we might need to get a little worried about only using squirrels. We
The
might
other
even start
interesting,
seeing bees.
the other interesting one was equip rods. I think it was in Wolf's. The ability to break rods is incredibly powerful in this game in particular. It's even more powerful in the Pixel remaster, just simply because you can also wield a rod while breaking a rod, which would boost the rod break. You can't do that in SNES. You have to be able to wield the rod, and the rod has to be in your equip to be able to break it.
And so this boss's abductor, it is vulnerable to pretty much all forms of insta-death. However, Slash, even if the boss can be hit by it, is not a guaranteed hit. Its accuracy leaves a hair to be desired at times.
Well, there's double grip. Is that a
If
good one?
we have any sort of a mid-tier sword,
We have an axe. Does that count?
it does not, because we can't unless we have equip axes. But we would then need to be. We wouldn't be able to use both.
And I passed on equip axes because they were, I think it was sold in Tool. I said no. Actually, I think it was Lux.
I mean, we haven't seen any of the larger axes, so that makes complete sense.
I have a giant axe in my inventory. Actually.
I guess that is a real axe. I tend to treat that one as money.
Yep, exactly.
It's
No,
a lot of
so
money.
normally when we are playing Career Day, we'll play it in something known as race settings, which would open up World 1 and World 2 and give you a tablet to start. So your power is generally pretty high in the beginning. You can carry that through the early game. In this case, I did not give any of those safeguards. And so we're kind of stuck with a bunch of low-tier stuff until we eventually get something of use. Hopefully.
Hey, it's the king of all dragons.
I mean,
And not
at least
a dragon.
at least we don't need to clear the adamantite checks to get to World 2. We just need to get the key item. That's something.
Yep, there is nothing more fun than having the than having 4-job Fiesta and going through Soul Cannon with 4 Thieves or 4 Bards. The 4-job Fiesta is run basically mid-June to the end of August. It is probably the way most people play this game in vanilla. You get assigned 4 random jobs based on whatever settings you want, and you have to go through the game with just those 4 jobs, or 5 or 6, depending on how you really set up the 4-job Fiesta. But if you're looking to get into the vanilla game, I would very much encourage you to check that out. It is by far my favorite way to play this game in vanilla.
I see we discovered the weakness of squirrels. Things that can fly.
I was about to ask about that, and hey, that was the thing we got hinted about. Moogle Sword being in World 1. Yeah, we found it now. It's a pity we won't be able to use that Moogle Sword until we get to World 2, but, you know, minor detail.
So I'm really just looking for any power upgrade. Black 3 would be really nice because I have Fire 2 as well. But we just don't have anything. So we're just going to continue going until I can't.
You mentioned, at which point you mentioned there's equip rods in a shop. There's potentially in some of the shops we haven't gotten around to some buyable rods to break, and that is likely a form of power we might have to get to if we don't find anything otherwise. But most of the fights are just until we get a different source of power, a new job, new tiers of abilities are just going to be animals, or in various cases, at the moment, if they're not heavy, we can slash the boss. So it'd be a good time to see if our host has anything for us at the moment.
You know what I do? We have a $15 donation from Leggy Starscream saying, "Woo, last day, let's go hit that 5k." My voice is not up for hitting the high pitch. Donation is going to making Demi suffer. And speaking of making Demi suffer, we have a couple of bid wars that have just opened up that you might want to throw some money towards. That particular donation was going towards our 3 randomizer shuffler by Demarine 2, which is coming up later. Currently in the lead of that, we have Final Fantasy 6, Z1R, and LCTPR as the 3 games that Demi is going to be running. But you can also pick between Dragon Warrior 1 randomizer, Final Fantasy 1 randomizer, and Final Fantasy 4 free enterprise. So those options are still available. Also opened up for our Metroid Dread race later, we have a Pride Missile bid war happening. You can choose between asexual pride, bisexual pride, genderqueer pride, non-binary pride, pansexual pride, a pride flag, and trans pride. All those options are open for you to pick for. And of course, we have our overarching goal. As mentioned, our general goal for the Randomania was $4,000, but we have a bit of a stretch goal. If we can hit $5,000 by the end of the day, as you can probably see on the schedule, our last run is Ocarina of Time Randomizer Crowd Control with Cubs Row 21. If we hit $5,000 before that starts, Ice Trap Mayhem. That's all I'm going to say about that. We are going to add a load of ice traps to the game, and if you know anything about ice traps, you know that is something you're going to want to see. So if you want to contribute to any of those and help raise money for the National Alliance for Mental Illness, ! Donate in the chat. We'll pull up the link that you can send all that information to.
So while we're going through all that, yeah, we found out adamantite down on that mountain. So,
yeah, very useful, and I'm glad we did not even attempt one bit to fade North Mountain 1 in hopes to save it for World 3 access, because it is one of the checks along with the library that can be done in both World 1 and World 3. But with that adamantite, we quick checked, cashed in the Moogle suit, got 7 very decent tier chests, and mostly a pile of knives and whips, which meant we bought the trainer job so we can equip those whips.
Yeah,
So
that is a massive power upgrade. There was no shot of me going anywhere else with the amount of power that I had.
You didn't want to do 3,000 HP of bees?
Yeah, that sounds terrible. No, I'll leave that to you.
But the
Yeah,
bees.
I've done it.
Bees. We can get bees in a bottle coming up. If you donate for the link to the past window is at Shuffler. Yeah, we're just gonna continue going through early game checks. Try to get things as quickly as possible done. This is an interesting fight. I would really appreciate if Apocalypse used L2 Old here and saved me a lot of trouble. Beautiful.
Yay. Saved you trouble. Now let's kill it before it becomes a pain.
Yep.
So what? So why is having L2 old cast on you a good thing?
So, L2 Old is a blue magic spell. In fact, this is, Apocalypse is the blue mage in Final Fantasy V, and I enjoy blue mage when I get the ability to use it. So, basically, L2 Old is one of those premier spells that is annoying to get naturally. You get them from magic dragons in Xtef's castle. So if Apocalypse can basically teach you L2 Old and L5 Doom, you have a good portion of your, what we would call death by math, which is essentially getting a boss to level 5, something divisible by level 5, solved. The issue here is, of course, L2 Old hit my entire party, and I don't have Phoenix Downs. This boss has has 2,000 HP, and we're currently sitting at losing our levels every single battle tick.
He also has all the magic defense in the world, so that is why Squirrels is doing less damage than we've been seeing. And Bees is mostly a random damage based rather than magic power based attack. Ow.
Ooh, that kind of smarts.
Yeah, this might not go too well. I don't think I have the damage out there. It's 2,000. I don't think I've got
Tiny,
quite
blind, we got this! You did, based on that damage, you only need to do like 150
We
Never
can do
mind.
can at least do some damage before he gets that second turn. So the way Apocalypse works is his script has a certain percentage to use specific blue magic every turn. So in the second turn, I think it's a 1/3 chance to use L2 Old. I forget what the other spells are, but L2 Old is the one I'm really looking for. Mind Blast is also a really nice magic spell, and that actually hit the person I would love for that to hit. So let's see if I can get a little bit more damage before L2 Old goes on.
Yeah, our main
Or-
damage is the whips, but I guess in a last-ditch effort, we did pick up a hardened dagger, air knives, which they'll do something.
I mean, we've done about 1.3 right so far. So, although that doesn't help.
Surprised the RNG gave me that twice.
So, why
Probably-
was the party different levels?
Well,
Leggy went down during a fight.
Bahamut casted Flare.
Oh, right. So they were different levels, which meant the old lowered their level? Or wait, I can't remember. Does old work on levels for the main party or just the enemies?
Nope, it's level. So I had someone at level 10, and everyone was otherwise level 12. Because everyone got L2 olded. Gotta talk to this purple chocobo for no reason other than to catch the purple chocobo.
I mean, why
But-
not?
The key
Exactly.
item we just got from that is the Mirage Radar. Doesn't do anything for us now, but once we get to World 3, it will give us access to 2 of the 5 World 3 locked hints, all but 2 of the best shops in the game, and the final piano, which I don't know. That might be the most important bit. I don't know about
I
you.
believe it is. Yes. So you're also going to see me buy a bunch of consumables in these shops. One of the most there are several broken abilities in the game. One of the main ones is a chemist ability known as Mix. You could basically just beat the game with a bunch of chemists using Mix. It's really just the most broken thing, because you can raise your levels, you can set status effects. And revivifies are a main component of most major mixes, so we buy those consumables when we get them, in the hopes that we do see mix, just so we can essentially choose the game. Final Fantasy V at its core is about how can you cheese things the fastest, and there are no shortage of options to do such.
There's all the ways of insta-killing. There's ways to make your damage go through the roof. Dual wielding, dancing for quad damage with sword stance. There's a lot of ways in the game. Throwing money at your problems.
You can sing.
You can also sing, yes. You can do some really silly shenanigans in the Super Nintendo version that wouldn't be available in other versions, namely, again, using Mix and X Magic. If you ever wanted to multicast Holy, you can do that. You will crash your game as a consequence, but you could theoretically do that because there is something known as the Mix glitch, which I won't get too far into, but let's just say the game has some very broken features, as a lot of Super Nintendo Final Fantasies do.
I think my favorite Super Nintendo's Brawl and Dance.
I'm tempted, but I don't think I'm going to.
That's fair. We don't have any good classes yet, but one of my favorite SNES 5 quirks is Underflow Berserker, where you can set it up so your magic stat goes from being 0 or 1, or essentially going from like 3 of a magic stat down to -1, where it just wraps around and you have a massive magic stat for a magic-based rune axe weapon as the Berserker class. Lots and lots of damage. Ooh, big bridge.
This is what we have to say quiet, right? Because it's song.
I wonder if I'm going to see the full Greg 4 here. Probably.
Oh. Got any eye drops?
I do. I just bought 11 or 22 of them.
Maybe you want to see the full script in case we run into necrophobia.
We could. I don't know if I'll get the choice. I could reset out and come back later with a bit more damage, but where's the fun in that? Let's play a little bit dangerous on this. If you ever wanted to waste 5 minutes of time, what you do is let Greg 4 get sent to the void at the end of this fight, and then run into Necro, and then you get the full cutscene that you would get in vanilla against Necrophobe, which is very, very long.
Why is Kara talking? I don't see any Kara.
Who's Kara?
I don't know. We definitely didn't do a bid war for Kara, so mysterious person. So Greg is going to change here. His HP values basically get reset, so it's probably looking like I'm not going to be able to kill Greg 4 in time, which generally means the fastest thing to do is just to wait. You can see his damage has gone through the roof with the world's strongest sword, the Excalibur.
He murdered someone.
Yeah, I know, I'm surprised too.
Poor Daphis. We
Poor
hide in
Daphis.
ye.
I could resurrect Daphis, but I'm just not going to.
Athos knew what he was doing when he stood in Lena's vanilla spot.
And
It's
became a
not.
frog.
It's not that Lena is normally dead. It's that whoever is in slot 2 has a higher chance of being dead, clearly.
We'll go with that. So there are instances where having Greg 4 interrupt your necrofight is actually preferable. The way I'm running this is I'm not guaranteeing any abilities or jobs or items, so ideally for the necrofight you have the ability Golem or the ability to summon Golem. There's no guarantee I ever get that ability. I'm guaranteed to see Golem as a boss fight and get the Golem item that way, but there's no guarantee I get Summoner or Summon 3+. And if
There's
I don't,
also no guarantee that the Golem boss fight isn't behind Necrophobia.
that is also true. Nice hint.
Thanks, game.
Thanks.
There is a general, I want to say, meme in the randomizer for starting with only World 1 that we're going to see at least one hint that says the Adamantite is in World 1. I'm looking forward to that hint.
How about like a World 2 or 3 hint saying that whatever place that North Mountain is Path of the Void because it has the Adamantite?
I mean, it's not like I'm gonna not go to Mirage. Okay, well, the one thing about Misted Knights are they are a very fast class. So they continually outspeed my trainers, which is kind of annoying.
Third fastest in the game?
Yep. Thief is fastest, and I think Dancer.
Oh, are they faster than Ninja? That's slightly surprising.
Yeah, sorry, Ninja.
Got it. But the main point where a class's stats will become more relevant, if we master a job, with the freelancer and mime jobs, gain whatever the best stat of all of your mastered classes are, if it's better than the pretty much flat 30 or so bases of those class. But we got the bracelet, which that is one of our 2 pieces required to get to World 3. We need the anti-barrier to get into Exdeath's Castle, and we need the bracelet to get into the higher level floors. So...
Wow, there were actually rods for sale in World 1. There was a change that we made to the tiering probably, 8 or 9 months ago, maybe a year ago, that made rods pretty difficult to find in shops. Certainly in World 1, so I wasn't expecting to see them.
Is that the main reason you didn't actively seek to hunt it down, especially with animals?
Yeah, that's the main reason. Especially knowing that Equip Rods was, I believe, in Licks. Anyways, I believe this is our 4th Piano Flex. We got 4 more to go.
Lena's so strong at the moment.
Gotta go back to Carwin in order to get that Piano Flex. But we will make our way over there shortly. And so what I'm doing right now, I do have access to World 2. That actually does have access to quite a number of better shops, but the amount of power I have right now, I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to go and clean up most of World 1 with what I have. The only exception is I'm more than likely not going to go up to Flying Wonka Ruins with the Adamantite. If you've noticed, the airship now has the up button, so indicating that I can go up there. I'm not going to do that just yet. That is a little bit more powerful of a boss. That is 12,000 HP, and I just don't want to deal with that. Although there is a chance that I could instantly kill it, like I'm going to do with this Chimera Brain, who is also teaching me Aqua Rake, although I already bought it as well. So, similar to Vanilla, there are ways you can learn blue spells. You can get them by items, but you can also learn them naturally. So like I was mentioning before, the magic dragons in Exdeath's Castle can teach you L2 Old. The book 64s can teach you L5 Doom. The Black Flames will teach you Dark Shock, which I will go back for when I have more AoE. And so if I ever run into blue, you will see more math than you would ever want to see on stream unless you're playing Final Fantasy Tactics.
Was
That's
that
good, 'cause
the
I love math.
normal meteor you find Chimera Brain in, or
No,
just slightly shuffled?
slightly shuffled.
The best kind of shuffled.
Chimera Brain is normally in Lanka Meteor. So that was, I believe, the Karnak Meteor that I just came from.
Ah, Titan's meteor. I'm kind of glad we did not run into Titan yet.
So am I. I don't remember if I have found Float in a shop. I have time on somebody. I have time
We
on
have
Lena.
whips. If I remember.
None of them are proccing paralysis.
Oh, the Dragon Whip doesn't, or it's not.
It can, it just hasn't. Alright, so Carbuncle here. We're gonna really hope that Carbuncle doesn't kill Leggy. And then we're going to do a cursor trick. We're going to have our fight cursor command on Carbuncle. It's going to drop, which indicates that Carbuncle changes phase and now becomes weak to a number of things, including Slash. And just like that, we take care of a boss that is very, very annoying to hit.
And Leggy gets all the XP.
And Leggy gets all the XP. As you can see. Now Leggy is the most powerful person on this team.
She's the fastest. Well, in a straight line, same job, Ferris is the fastest in Telkara, and that is good.
But yeah, with that, we're just gonna clear the rest of World 1. Well, most of the rest of World 1. I only got a couple more checks here. But I want to throw it over to our host to see if there are anything else he wants to tell us.
Well, you know what? We are here, as mentioned, at the 2024 Randothon in support of the National Alliance on Mental Illness. So let me tell you a little bit about them while we have a minute. The National Alliance on Mental Illness is the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization dedicated to building better lives for the millions of Americans affected by mental illness. What started as a small group of families gathered around a kitchen table in 1979 has blossomed into the nation's leading voice on mental health. Today, we are an alliance of more than 600 local affiliates and 49 state organizations who work in your community to raise awareness and provide support and education that was not previously available to those in need. If you'd like more information on what NAMI does, head over to NAMI.org. That is NAMI.org, where you can get all of the information you need. Don't forget, folks, we still have those bid wars open for both Metroid Dread Pride Missiles and select the 3 games that Demarine 2 will be running in the 3 randomizer relay later on. If you want to contribute to any of those and help raise some much needed funds for NAMI, !donate in the chat. We'll pull up the link and you can throw your money there towards a good cause.
So almost done with World 1's basic Spear 0 open at the start checks, which getting through those is typically a good idea to give your party a good basis and strength before you start doing some of the more difficult checks.
Yeah, so one of the other changes we made to this randomizer, I say we, the randomizer is made by 2 really good folks in Clear Tonic and Carulius. We also had released an Archipelago branch. I say we, this is Clear Tonic's work at this point. So you can enjoy Career Day in multi-settings as well. But one of the changes we made was the EXP that you get from any spot is going to be equal to the amount of HP that the boss has. This is sort of to teach you how much a boss has at a spot. Normally in vanilla and a lot of Final Fantasies, you don't get EXP from boss fights. In a randomizer setting, that doesn't particularly work too well, because then you'd be vastly under-leveled, and then you're starting to have to force yourself to take grinds, and no one really wants to grind in a randomizer setting if they don't have to. Certain Final Fantasy is not applying to that statement. Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 4 possibly. But there, in a general career day seed, there shouldn't be any need to do any random fight grinding or anything like that, which smooths things out considerably, because he can just run to boss to boss to boss until hopefully you don't end up in a position that you can't get past.
Speaking of running away, Gilgamesh 2 has ran away, giving us nothing but a little bit of AP and a Elder Branch, which can do a lot of things. It can go in. It's the only way to change the party members is by completing that check. It also is required to unlock access to Fork Tower, where you get to do the forbidden split the party. So it is an all-round fun item to get.
The other thing we didn't really talk about was the sort of how tiering of items work, if anyone wants to explain that.
So pretty much every chest, every dungeon, the job crystals, they've been kind of categorized with a tier along with all of the items and abilities. So those tiers will go from tier 1 through 9, and as you go through the early game, you'll mostly be opening tier 1 through 3 chests or getting tier 4 essentially crystal rewards. In most cases, we have various chances of a tier overflow, so what are we currently, 15% at 3, or?
That is correct.
So we have a 15% chance for every chest, every item check in the game to give us up to 3 tiers from what it should be giving us. So instead of a tier 4 item, you could get up to, say, a tier 7 item from those Wind Shrine crystal rewards. And with that hint, I believe that's our first of 5 guaranteed Path of the Void hints to help guide us where we're going. We'll be going underwater to the falls at some point in the seed. So now we know we need both the subkey and the falls page. Yay.
This is looking to be a long seed, which is great. Especially for meeting that 2 hours and 40-minute estimate. Yeah. We have the Chicken Knife Brave Blade chest. Just like in Vanilla, you can only take 1. Unlike Vanilla, it is not Chicken Knife and Brave Blade, otherwise the option is very clear there. You would never take the Brave Blade, even if you're doing a Brave Blade one. Just don't. Not even once.
20,000 more gil. That's nice.
Yeah. Money's good.
Money is great.
So I guess it looks like now the priority is basically now we're just going to be solid in World 2. We're just going to get all the things that we need to pick up into the shops and go from there, right?
Yes, with the World 2 shops, there's quite a bit more power available generally. It's not guaranteed, certainly in these settings. But we will do what we can. Now the bosses are getting a little bit beefier with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, Battle Castle being only 2400 HP. We're also going to get our hints. It looks like the submarine key is very much required, not only from the Falls point of view, but for Barrier Tower. We got 1 more piano flex in this world, so you can get 7 pianos in World 1 and World 2, and then you have the 8th in Mirage Village in World 3. And so we're going to head over there soon. We are going to loot out the Elder Branch, or the Moor Forest here. We're not going to go for the boss quite yet, or maybe I'll peek it, but generally you get some pretty good loot in Moor Forest. It's quite high
It could be
tier.
vanilla, and we could go and use Slash. It sometimes works.
There are lots of ways you can deal with Guardians, and they are all universally terrible unless you have Odin. So I hope not. I would rather just not see Guardians.
It could also be Stalkers.
Hey, I have a way to deal with stalkers. I have Sleep Blade.
It's still stalkers.
Yes. Let's us hope it's not stalkers.
Well, if we didn't already know Mind Blast, we now know Mind Blast, which will likely be potentially very useful later on in the seed because it has a. Is it guaranteed paralysis or simply very high chance?
It's guaranteed if they can beat paralysis, they will. Which is, yeah, very, very important for certain bosses, depending on your strategies. Blue Mage is very versatile. The only issue in Career Day or any randomizer is you need the ability to use blue spells. I hope they show that off, but again, there's no guarantee that the blue ability or the blue job is in the game. So we just have to hope. So let's see what the boss is. I did save outside for when this boss is not going to be pleasant. But maybe, just maybe it's slashable.
Maybe it's vanilla.
It technically
It's
is
slashable. It's also not pleasant.
Archaeoavis will come back for you later.
Are we going to get to see one of the greatest glitches in this game?
100%. I am excited to show that off when I get a little bit more damage. So Archaeoavis, that spot has about 30,000 HP. It's not exactly 30,000, but it's close enough. Divided by 5, and that's how much HP that each form of Archaeoavis has. You can't see the form change unless you're paying really close attention to the ATB bar. But certain forms have different weaknesses. The boss will become immune or absorb certain elements at the end of the... basically at the turn of each phase. The last one is perfectly magic immune. It is, hilariously enough, level 20, so if you had blue magic, you would be able to use level 5 Doom at the end, but phase 2 and phase 4 are not immune to instant death. Which, if you have abilities such as Slash, or in specific, Slash, you can get some really fun glitches that way, and I hope to show that off when I get the ability to do a little bit more damage.
So we just saw that Hiru Valley is Path of the Void. I mean, it could always just be a tablet. It could also just be our anti-barrier for World 3 access, but I wonder if that's where our sub-key is.
I am almost certain it's going to be where our sub-key is.
Sub-key there, anti-barrier at barrier.
The
Wait.
classic. Does that seem a little vanilla-ish? Sort of. Wow, I have gotten no job points this entire run. If I still have Mystic Knights at level 5, level 6. I wish I had Break.
You have
Yeah,
break
break
spell.
Yep, I
Yep.
don't have the ability to use it. Unfortunate. But Ifrit
Oh.
can be paralysis. Not
Yay.
for long.
And we
But
have
it
a
can be.
fire sword. So, can the hardened dagger, is that one of the usable daggers, or was it sold for money?
Hardened Dagger is only equipable by Ninja. It is
Got
Ninja's
it.
ultimate weapon.
And the air knives are not magic blades.
I could. It just wouldn't do enough for me to care.
That's fair. There's only 6,000 health here, or 55.
5,000, I believe. And the whips are actually hitting paralysis, so...
We are strong.
Well, 2 of my party members are strong. Leggy and Hero. Daphis and Rex are sort of just along for the ride. I have no idea why they still have animals as their ability.
Well, because they're along for the ride.
Yeah, summoning a bunch of
If they were
animals.
going to be doing something, maybe they'd go and change up their ability, but if they're just there for the ride, who doesn't want to summon squirrels and bees and birds and rabbits?
There's something cheerleaders.
They're clearly druids in Dungeons and Dragons.
Mystic Knight Druid? works for me.
I show. This is actually. I have anything else that's good. You know what? I don't need-
Sing Requiem song.
that might
Oh,
be
you wait. When did you get Throw?
I bought it in
Pro-
Circuit.
Yeah, and that hence buying a whole bunch of Thunder Scrolls.
Yeah.
See, I was paying attention. Were you? I know that I saw it got picked up.
It's
I
not
pay
even 8 in
attention
the
to
morning
the.
for Joe.
Yeah,
Speaking of Thunder Scrolls,
Ooh.
something that is weak to Thunder, and gives us the old status effect.
and just like that, the cannon is gone. I'm sure that is relieving for anyone who has done 4-job Fiesta with just a bunch of bards.
Glorious explosions. And dark matter.
One of those is more important than the other, but just barely. Well, I think I know where the steamship key is.
It could be from the Wall's Tower. Or
also
Sandworm
be-
Bait.
Or if it's fire from the library.
Or
Either way, we got one more open check in World 2 that didn't require a key item, and we know it's our path to the void, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. First, I'm going to talk to one of these werewolves to give me whatever item they want.
And
Thanks, game.
oh wait, we already
Thanks.
have the bracelet.
Yep.
The game's trying.
Yeah, there was no guarantee I went to library immediately, and wow, L2 old in a shop. Don't see that very often.
Summon 3.
Well, who
The
was
first level of real summons.
Yep.
And oftentimes the only level of summons you need.
But
allows me
kick.
to summon Golem and shoot.
But
You didn't buy
we'll
kick.
just be going through the mountain, getting potentially a pile of money or other goods, but
You're right, I
Uh,
didn't buy kick.
well, we're looting. Does our host have anything for us now?
Yeah, just a reminder, folks, in case you just joined us, you are watching the 2024 Randothon, Randomania Rental Health, brought to you by Randomania in aid of the National Alliance on Mental Illness. This is our 7th event on the Randomania channel, but it's the second one focused on raising money for charity. NAMI, of course, a charity that is close to our hearts here at Randomania, so we're always happy to raise money for them. Just a reminder for those who may have joined us, we still have those 2 bid wars open. We have the Metroid Dread Pride Missiles bid war open. You can choose between asexual pride, bisexual pride, genderqueer pride, non-binary pride, pansexual pride, pride frag, and trans pride. And in the Tree Randomizer Shuffler by Demarine 2 that's coming up later, you can, of course, select the games. Currently in the lead, we have got Final Fantasy VI, we've got The Legend of Zelda Randomizer, and The Legend of Zelda Link to the Past Randomizer. But you can also pick between Dragon Warrior 1 Randomizer, Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer, and Final Fantasy 4 Free Enterprise. Those options are still on the table. And, of course, we have that big overarching goal at $5,000 for our last run of the day, the Ocarina of Time Randomizer Crowd Control. Ice Trap Mayhem is still on the table. We can add a load of ice traps and make Cub's life very enjoyable indeed once we hit that 5,000 milestone. So if you want to help us get there and help raise some incredible funds for the National Alliance of Mental Illness, ! Donate in the chat. We'll get you all the information you need, and thank you in advance for your contributions.
We're gonna really
Oh,
hope that
it could be
paralysis hit
paralyzed.
a whole bunch here.
I was about to say, it's certainly a boss. I mean, we had a flame scroll, but that's only about 15% of this spot's health.
So why is
Yeah.
Mary Jane awful?
We all know it starts off weak to fire, but once you go and do a pile of hits, do some damage, it will change its weakness. So it, instead of being weak to fire, it'll be weak to a random element or physical pretty much, and absorb the rest of the elements. And that can be tricky to figure out what can do lots of damage, because Mirror Gene has high physical defense unless she's weak to physical hits. A fun part is once she changes form, she also changes level. So level 3 flare is, I believe, a method of doing damage after transformation if we had both that and blue.
It would be, I believe. Mary Jean starts at level 29, turns into level 33 once the first change happens. We're gonna really hope we don't see that. We're gonna hope we continue to cause paralysis on Mary Jean here so that she'll remain weak to fire. Eventually, it'll probably be worthwhile to have her change and hopefully be weak to physical, but we shall see.
I
White
fully
Mages
thought
also-
that was going to be her changing.
No, her ATB bar has been reset a number of times here.
Paralysis sucks to be inflicted with in this game.
And there are so many ways to inflict it.
But hey, we're free. We have
Oh,
the
it's a
fourth
tablet.
tablet.
Goodies!
Think
Well,
we're
that's
gonna get
good news
anything
at
good?
least.
Yes. I have hope.
Let's hope for coin. No, um, let's hope
Big
for
guard.
throwing money at our problems.
I believe I will not be guilt tossing the seed.
Ooh. Ooh.
That's the blue mage, yeah.
I mean, I knew
Okay,
that
now we're
was
not-
happening,
yeah.
but
That's
Rune Axe, if we had Berserker, I know we saw Giant's Gloves.
Maybe there are exactly 3 items. Oh, Axe Magic is interesting, isn't it?
Hmm.
But not really.
So, the ability to cast blue is definitely the standout here, but the lamp is also real nice. It, when used as an item, will cycle through summons, starting at Bahamut. I guess it doesn't do Phoenix, but
It
every
does
other
at the
summon.
very end.
That's
I
so
think.
weird.
Uh,
So it starts at Bahamut, then we'll go to Leviathan, then we'll go to the kind of big one to have Lamp and do Odin. However, it's guaranteed Xantasuken form of Odin. So we'll go for the insta-kill on non-heavy enemies, as opposed to Odin's other method is to Gungnir and throw a big ol' spear through the enemy.
So the other thing that happens in the randomizer is we get the ability to set encounters on every step, which helps considerably for a number of things. But now, we have, thanks to Apocalypse being Apocalypse, we have the ability to do some blue shenanigans, if I choose to do so.
We can only insta-kill every enemy in the game, I believe. Well, except Sandworm.
We do not have mix, so that's not entirely true. Whoops.
That's fair. There's a couple that it never gets even until it hits level 1.
Or are
Right?
just level 1 naturally, like Titan.
Titan.
I guess the other problem about being able to try to take on Sandworms, since you don't have Bard, you can't walk without rhythm.
Dathus appears to have forgotten how to cast magic.
A shame. Greg 1 is short-lived, runs away after you do 10 HP, but is also the only one who is able to be instantly gotten rid of like that. So
Also,
it's nice.
if you manage to kill him, you get the XP and an elixir. Bonuses.
Absolutely. So we're going to go through... I could have done that significantly earlier, because you only have to do about 1200 damage there. Unfortunate that I did not. Now we have the Steam Ship Key, which has a whole bunch of goodies, and also, I believe, the Hero You Recall. Which, at this point, is looking like could be our submarine key. I don't know why. Which is also very important to beating this game. So we might actually get a very vanilla sequence between the submarine key being at the Hear You Call, which is the Ziza fleet check in vanilla, into the barrier tower, from that into the anti-barrier, which is quite literally the vanilla sequence of events.
It's so weird seeing people go through Lanka ruins and not picking up all the chests after all of the archipelagos I've been doing recently with this game.
So many chests out of the way.
And none of them good, probably.
Let's probably mix in one of those chests.
We have Sing, it'll be fine.
I mean, we've got already have blue magic. Do we really need mix?
It helps significantly for what I would like to be able to do at the end of the game. I did buy Fusion, as I saw it in a shop. Fusion is one of those spells that are incredibly useful if you are able to juggle it around. What Fusion does is it restores the MP and HP of any character in which you use Fusion on. The issue with that is the party member that uses Fusion also dies. But it's basically an elixir for a trade-off of a Phoenix down, and in very long fights such as Neo X Def, it is very, very useful to have Fusion available, because things like Dark Shock do cost a lot of MP even with a gold hairpin. Especially when you miss it 30 times.
Hopefully we don't quite get 30 misses.
Let us hope not. Where am I going? I'm going.
We got the sandworm, we got some bait.
Yeah, we also got excellent time magic. I did not pick up time 6 that was currently in Sealed Castle, and I probably will at some point. So I probably will make one more trip in there. So ideally, it's not going to matter at this point, but we hope that Titan gets defeated while under paralysis. And we can actually ensure that by using Mind Blast.
We have the HP, but, I mean, if you don't need to tent, you don't need to tent. That's not the right page.
Yes,
but it
we've
is
got
the other
We've-
3 hints in World 3.
We have gotten every page but the page that we know we need.
You're just getting your options open. You're only missing the page you need and the subkey, and you have all of World 3 open. Isn't that what you want in a seed?
When the estimate is 240, it makes sense. The situation happens quite a bit too, where you end up with a whole bunch of pages and you're like, where is my last tablet? The answer is probably where you aren't looking.
The old none of the above option.
Yep.
What's the one check you either didn't want to do or forgot to do? And was never hinted.
Poor hints. We are lacking so many paths to avoid hints, I gotta imagine.
They're all in
Actually, no.
World 3. and they'll tell you about the where the anti-barrier is, where the bracelet is, maybe where the adamantite was. It'll be great.
I was really hoping Odin would be at a more dangerous spot. So Odin can also be paralyzed. Uh, Odin can instantly kill you if he decides to in later spots, but Mind Blast locks him down to the point where he won't be able to do anything if you have enough actors.
Early on, he'll just do an insta-kill hit on one person into just a regular swing. Later on, he'll do some lovely AoE comet-based random damage to the party, which can it can really ruin some people's days. Monster in a box.
So we're going to try to loot at all of this, given that we are under obsessively a time pressure of 10 minutes.
Luckily, unlike vanilla, we do not have to deal with random encounters that you cannot run away from. In vanilla, in certain 4 jobs, it is an actual pain to loot this place out fully. It's mostly a whole bunch of elixirs in vanilla. And obviously, Career Day, that's not exactly the case, but what is important are the 3 monsters in a box that will contain basically tier 6 items at base. So, are very nice to come across, because they can yield some very good amount of power. So we've seen 2, just won't go to the 2 towers. There is a chest on the left and chest on the right, the Elf Cape and the Guardian in vanilla. We're just not going to go there.
Okay, fair enough. I guess the other question I have, oh, I had a question, but I've forgotten it. Dang it.
We did get the Assassin's Dagger from a unguarded chest, which is very, by far the best thing I've found in this entire Burning Karnak. Which also enables another fun interaction. I did not buy a mission. Oh well.
Yeah, so the with the items and abilities in Career Day being shuffled all throughout the game, those 12 vanilla sealed Kuzakasa weapons will, well, not guaranteed with our settings, are likely to be found throughout the just throughout various chests in the game, late game checks, because they're usually higher tier. Yeah, those 2 chests throughout the staircases are really long, with not usually being worth as much.
So we got the hero call out of the steamship, as we knew we would. So now we go to the big boat, Aziza's fleet. We got another reprise of Battle at the Big Bridge.
One of our only 2 potential remaining, if I recall. Because there's Gilgamesh 3 and here.
Big Bridge?
And we got the Big Bridge.
Oh, right.
And we also got Necrophobe. Whenever we find Necrophobe.
So it does play Big Bridge music. It's been a little bit since I've gotten the cutscene.
Absolutely, you cannot ignore Greg. I mean, you can. You do so at your own peril. It's weird, I don't know.
Lena is poisoned again.
Lena, hero, just is always going to be poisoned. It's like walking in a big swamp.
Oh,
DWR.
well, I guess the anti-barrier is not from barrier,
Nope.
but it could be the falls page.
Well, whenever we get the submarine key, we know where we're going. So, we walk into
So-
Exnef's castle. Galuf is
Yeah.
still alive. Good job, Galuf. I believed in you this entire time.
It was getting
didn't.
real close to maybe not being the case.
It
Real
very
close.
Ooh.
You.
No,
I mean,
this
we have a
is
Dragon
great.
Whip.
Why would I do that?
Oh.
Choked is level 38. I am not in the party order for this. This is quite honestly the worst party order that could have been conceived for that. Alright, so Shote's really, really annoying to do normally. Every time you would attack, you would counter with Demon Eye, which basically stones the character that attacks. We're just going to make sure Shote doesn't do that at all by essentially not attacking Shote. So we're actually going to cycle through here. So I'm going to wait for my ATB bars to fill, just to make this easier on me. Also, Drain is really annoying. And then make it level 35. With some appropriate timing of the L5 Doom.
We can learn Shote again.
I always wanted to learn Shote.
So do you do that by basically counting ticks on the ATB to work out its level 35?
Yes, that is the basics of that. So you can watch the ATB ticks sort of through the ATB bar. There are a couple of scenarios where that isn't perfectly accurate, but for the most part, yeah, you can just watch the ATB bars for the ticks. It has something to do with battle speed as well, but for the most part, that's not too important.
We have
Oh, hey,
level
hero
ways.
song.
Now we just need a pile of Aegis shields, I guess, if we aren't going to get mix. Or we would appreciate a pile of Aegis shields if we're not going to get mix. Need might be an overstatement.
Equip swords. I don't have the sword. But do I have float? I do, but I don't have anyone with float.
Ooh, we can two-wield whips.
You're not wrong, but why?
Can you dual wield bells?
I do not believe so.
I've never attempted to, so I am not sure.
I'm
Was
also
that
in the
black
camp of
level
never done-
4?
It was.
Oh wait, we have summon 3 and Shote.
Shote has a little bit higher base accuracy than the black spell break. Lots of
But-
string suits.
Exdeath's Castle is outside of the tablet dungeons or Mirage Village shops, is one of the best places to loot and can give a lot of good goodies.
Oh hey, we got Golem. That's probably important.
Oh yeah.
It's also very important to actually teach Golem.
We have 1 bone mail. That's something. Probably won't get used, but it's something.
One of the consequences of playing without all guaranteed jobs is you generally get very few of them. Wow. You know,
We're floating.
We were. So I could technically death by math catastrophe. The magic evade is so high that it's almost never worth it. But this is a boss that you can cheese quite easily. You just need one person with time and float. So catastrophe script is such that if character is floating, it will use gravity 100. That is the basis of catastrophe script. So if you had a wall ring or something like that, you'd be perfectly fine.
I mean, we have Carbuncle.
We do. We also just have the ability to cast float.
And paralyze him for half a second.
Hey, the half a second matters.
But yeah, the fight's going to be us putting out our damage, recasting float every time it gets countered, and hoping he just sort of stays paralyzed. Do we have any time for our host?
Psycho,
Hey,
take
well,
it away.
I was muted. Anyway, yeah, just to call out once again, you are watching the Randothon in aid of Nami, the Alliance of Melton. Let me give you some more facts about Nami while we have a minute. Nami believes in a diverse, inclusive, and equitable organization or alliance, one where all employees, volunteers, and members, regardless of gender, race, gender identity, ethnicity, national origin, age, sexual orientation, education, disability, veteran status, or other dimension of diversity, I beg your pardon, feel value and respected. They are committed to a non-discriminatory approach and to providing equal opportunity for employment, participation, and advancement in all programs and work sites. NAMI are good people. We're always happy to support them with these Randothons and with other events that we do. Once again, just to call out, we do have 2 bid incentives open at the moment. For our Metroid Dread run, you can choose the Pride missiles that are used by the runner in that case. You can choose between asexual pride, bisexual pride, genderqueer pride, non-binary pride, pansexual pride, pride flag, or trans pride. And coming up later, we have the 3 randomizer shuffler by Demarine 2. You can also select the games for that. There's a bid war going on for that. Currently in the lead, we have got Final Fantasy VI, Zelda 1 randomizer, and LTTPR. You can also choose between Dragon Warrior 1 randomizer, Final Fantasy 1 randomizer, and Final Fantasy 4 Free Enterprise. Those options are still open. Time is running out and getting both those bid wars decided. So if you want to contribute to that, now's a good time to do so. And don't forget, folks, once we hit a $5,000 stretch goal, we are adding ice traps, lots of ice traps, to the Ocarina of Time randomizer crowd control run at the end of the day. Lots of good stuff going on, lots of stuff to contribute to. If you want to help us out with that and raise some much needed funds for the National Alliance of Mental Illness, ! Donate in the chat will get you the link you can do to do so.
I'm glad we didn't skip that catastrophe.
So am
I mean, I had the sub key. No, that's not that important, right?
I mean, it's only been hinted as vitally important at least 2 times. Maybe it'll be triple important or quadruple important.
Sounds like not important to me.
I mean, I think it's kind of funny where you have to, go into the castle to get the sub key to then go up Barrier Tower. I feel like that's kind of the opposite of how that's meant to work, but hey, this is a randomizer after all.
Randomizers are all about reverse vanilla or French vanilla. It's their specialty. Ooh, a rune edge. If that's starting to get to a reasonable weapon to attempt to wield, or not to wield, double grip.
Unfortunately, you cannot magic sword the rune edge.
Are we going to be fast enough?
Oh no, there is no way we are skipping the entire 5-minute cutscene.
Script!
I mean, I'm here for this.
Also unfortunate because there are faster ways to deal with this than sitting through a whole bunch of animations. So, the other good thing about Shout is that it ignores any reflect, and those barriers have reflect. So, the only thing we actually care about is... Let's do summon here. I don't actually want 4 summoners. simply because we have to do damage to
Do we
Necro
have a good?
somehow.
Do we have any good element? Oh, do we have a good weapon to give an element to?
Not really. I mean, I'm just gonna use Arrow 3. So we're gonna take down 2 barriers at a time. We don't have to. So this spot's actually really annoying. It is 30,000 HP. Necro, the main body, is weak to all elements, so we're gonna use Arrow 3 to some pretty good effect. But the barriers, it's good to see Necro here rather than any later. Necro in the Void is notorious for just absolutely destroying your team because it will cast Holy and Flare until you die. And generally, or at least used to be faster than you could actually get an action. Which is unfortunate. In fact, the first Career Day tournament, both of the Grand Finals matches actually had that happen where Necro was in the Void. And at least one of those basically meant our runners had to leave the Void and get some way to deal with Necro before they basically died from Flare and Holy. Which, when they're doing 1600 HP of damage, is generally lethal.
Yeah, trying to get as many forms of any type of insta kill is real good for it, even if it's relying on killer bow please work strats.
So it's interesting, right? Because this is the Gilgamesh 4 spot in vanilla. We are going to see Gilgamesh here after defeating Gilgamesh 4. So, you know, it makes sense.
Just randomize the things.
So the golem there is incredibly well timed, and because this is not a fun fight without it. You're a white mage, you can't actually wield the knives. That's right.
So when does Gilgamesh show up?
About 15,000 HP.
Oh.
So soon, TM.
Soon TM. No, Necro is someone you definitely want to face earlier and not later.
But you don't want to face him too early because then you don't have any good like AoE and it can become a little bit of a pain to deal with the barriers if it's at, say, Wind Shrine.
So I'm guessing this next turn will be the last one. You can also see the difference between Air Knife and not Air Knife. And there is Greg. In the Pixel Remaster, you can still get damage Necrophobe in this fight and ignore this entire speech. If I had a Thief with a Steal command, I could steal a Genji item from this Gilgamesh as well. I have neither of those, so to enjoy a little bit of a break, you get this script that is, I guess some people would probably say it's a little bit outdated, and I'm not going to disagree with that. But it's a good time for, you know, a coffee break for those of us who are in the United States. Get up, get a drink. We'll be here for a while.
Do I have time to jump in here? Or?
Absolutely.
Awesome. While we just have a little bit of while we have Greg doing whatever it is that Greg does, let me give you some more facts about Nami for a second. Nami, here's a fact that will be interesting for you. Stigma harms 1 in 5 Americans affected by mental health conditions. It shames them into silence and prevents them from seeking help. The Stigma Free campaign is Nami's effort to end stigma and create hope for those affected by mental illness. Through powerful words and actions, we can shift the social and systemic barriers for those living with mental health conditions. Just one of the many things that Nami does that your money is going towards and helping them be able to do. Randomania's decision to select Nami, by the way, as a chosen charity is in memory of one of our former Randomania administrators, OTP lawyer. one that cared deeply about mental health and was also raising money for Nami. Unfortunately, he lost his battle with colon cancer a few years ago, and Randomania is dedicating Randothon in his honor. So, a very good, very worthy cause that we're contributing to here. Once again, just a couple of reminders about the bid. Metroid Dread Pride missiles still up for decision, and we also have the tree randomizer shuffler. You can still select the gains for those to see what Demarine is going through later on. If you want to contribute to any of those, exclamation point donate in the chat room. We'll give you all the information you need.
Gilgamesh is proclaiming his desire to do a one-on-one battle with Daphis. If you want to continue to see his adventures, World of Final Fantasy does continue the saga of Gilgamesh trying to track down Bartz, or Daphis as he's called. We're coming to the end of the cutscene. We just got one last heroic sacrifice, and then Greg shows up in most of the Final Fantasies following this in some fashion.
Even counting on FF14?
There's no Greg in FF14. No one can prove me wrong. Especially not with a free trial.
Value.
But actually, Doom is an interesting black spell because it is not actually the same instant death as the / command or X zone. I do not remember the order in which people were going, so we're just gonna swing it this way. Alright.
Looking at that party, I'd assume Leggy into hero. But maybe you have some heavy armor.
Summon 4. So the important thing to realize about Career Day, or actually Final Fantasy, I don't know if Final Fantasy V Vanilla works the same way. If you get a higher tier of an ability like Summon 4 from Summon 3, you do have to re-equip the ability to use that higher tier summon. We don't have any, but it's good to do that. So we have X-Def here. It has 2 phases. At half health, he will start doing double attacks. It is also level 66. So is also vulnerable to L2 Old. Which surprisingly can then go into L5 Doom. What a surprise. So that's 32,000 HP that we don't have to deal with, and the key to racing Career Day or getting fast times is basically not doing damage when you don't have to.
That's still like cheating.
It does, doesn't it?
I like dancing myself. But yes, instant death is... it's nice.
We got
the final piano.
We got one piano to play. And we also, then we go to the barrier tower.
Look at all these goodies. Do we even have enough money?
Can get more. I haven't sold a lot of this stuff in my inventory.
Would you like to learn about the rings?
Nope.
I do.
I forgot.
Oh well.
The Angel Ring protects from stuff. Like old, I think. Does the Angel Ring prevent level 2 old?
Zombie is the main one there.
Probably confusing zombie and old.
Oh no, I sold the bone mail. However, will I survive now?
With Aegis shields, hopefully.
One can hope. I don't know why I'm buying Thunder Rods. Hey, look, a Ragnarok.
Anyway,
Yep, anyway, this is not Final Fantasy VI.
I mean, if we had... Oh, look, there's a tablet at History Falls. Whoever could have guessed?
Hmm. That castle was also Path to the Void.
What did that have?
Nothing in World 2, so Odin is our way through. One of those is going to have the fall page, more than likely. Well, I think one of them has to have the falls page, logically.
Oh, and with Subkey, we can always check our last 3 hints soon enough.
Meanwhile, we have played all the pianos, we've done all the piano flexing. It was sort of anticlimactic. We're gonna catch this purple chocobo for no reason whatsoever yet again. We're gonna see what 40,000 HP a Bahamut gives us. Why? Because I don't want to go back into Mirage.
The perfect reason to do anything, because I don't want to walk through a place again.
So, a big thing there as well. We'd gotten Summon 4 from the top of Xdef's castle, and we picked up Odin from... Why am I even going there? Odin from a shop in Mirage. Mirage and Trench have some very high tier items in the shops. They are weighted tier 5 and tier 6, respectively. So very, very nice places to shop, providing you have the money. But we are going to go and check the Bahamut spot 40,000 HP. It might be painful, it might not be painful at all. Gelf is seeing the wonders of World 3, the Bird's World. Whoever
He's never done
did.
that before. Oh no. It's an elephant. Whatever shall we do?
Elephant meet dragon.
That... Are you sure that's a dragon?
I
Catapults?
mean, there's some descent. It could be a descent of one thing like that. Oh, hey, if it's fire.
Do you ever look up catapults on a Wikipedia page? You should.
I feel like
One
I
moment.
shouldn't after you said that.
We did get Ifrit's fire, and so I'm just not going to chase it.
I mean, it's fair. You know that the subkey has like everything, so makes
Yep.
sense.
Do my hints first. I am amazed we are an hour 30 into this, and I still have 1 tablet. But there are 2 monsters in a box in this tower that I don't really need to do, but we're gonna do it anyways.
I mean, those red dragons are usually rude to me, so you know,
Revenge.
it's fair.
I looked up its page. Still not sure why it's a dragon.
Eh.
Is that the greatest katana in existence?
No, it is merely just a tribute to the greatest katana.
Damage-wise,
Lots of crits.
it doesn't cast haste. Ooh,
Okay, so this is a
Odin?
nice one. Yep. Yellow dragons are instant deafable, so Odin is perfect here. Otherwise, it's in massive pain because they have 10,000 HP each. They also have the ability to drop coral rings, which we did not get, but we did get a chicken knife from that chest. That harkens back to a tournament match between Joe and I feel.
yeah,
That's all I'm
there's
gonna
been
say
a
about
fair
that.
amount of those. Dragons are
No,
stinky.
you need to tell me what this angel ring does.
Here, we can look it up. Where
I
are
don't
you?
think it'll tell you.
Nope.
No,
it
oh,
doesn't.
they...
It prevents zombie aging. It's
Yep,
it.
okay. Yep, there we go. So the chicken knife.
So,
is
if you ever wanted to be immortal, I mean, you can still be killed, I guess, but you won't be undead and you will stop aging. Just go get yourself an angel ring. Simple. Tricks to a long life.
50,000 or 50,000 gil. Hey, it's Hallie. If I want to do something fun, I can cast Odin here, and she can then kill me. Anyways, we're going to open with Kururu, the greatest spell in existence. And then I'm just going to go ahead and untoad my party.
What level is Hallie?
97.
Ah. So that's not our
unfortunate.
method.
Oh no. Here, just in case you do some physical attacks.
I mean, she just wants to make sure that your Mystic Knight can do real damage in the front row.
I know, and I'm about to do something that would totally shock you, Joe. I'm gonna go back into World 1 and go to Jakul. Now
Why
that I
World
have
Focus.
1?
I
The
could go
sword
to
then?
World 3, but I have troubles navigating Jakul into World 3, so I don't. Either way, I want to take a stop there for getting an ability that we noted earlier. Actually, I could do it in Karnak as well. I believe it was in the shared shop.
What do
So
you mean
certain
the shared
shops
shop?
are... Yeah, so certain shops are duplicated. Basically, there are no unique items relative to that shop. A good instance of this is Battle Castle in World 2. Are all shops that appear elsewhere, so you don't generally see people shop in Battle Castle because generally we'll go to other shops or other towns that have basically more unique shops like Kelb or another World 2 shop like Surgate. So it's just the shops, not every shop is unique, is essentially what that boils down to. But these are known shops, so there's no real question about where, which ones are going to be duplicates and which ones aren't. Item shops in general are pretty much duplicates across. So this is why we're going to World 1, Joe. I knew I was getting the Waltz Tower key from there. I mean, it was either going to be there or from Moor Forest. So...
Waltz Tower Key could also... Oh, wait, Waltz Tower Key was hinted in World 2.
Or it could have been the big bridge. I believe it was the magic... No, the magic shop would... No, it was, so I could have just gone into... Or Karnak. I don't need the warp shard. So we have dance.
My favorite ability. We can go and dance to the swords.
Yeah, unfortunately, with Mystic Knight, I can't equip a dancing item that would get rid of Tempting Tango. So
I wonder where Freelancer is.
Probably not in the seed.
I wonder where Black Mage is.
Probably not
Oh
in the
wait, we
seed.
don't have the tiara. I wonder where Dancer is.
I don't know. Could be in the pyramid.
My options kept shrinking every time I asked a question.
We do know where red shoes are. There were some in Mirage.
I thought we had a rainbow dress,
We do also have a rainbow dress. I believe
which
we also
allows
found
running
equipped
shoes
ribbons.
and ribbons. Eek, it's on fire.
Don't burn Waltz Tower. Oh.
How is
Oh.
it burn if it's the water crystal? Like it's usually full of water here.
Yeah, and you know what else is going to be full of water? This exact tower. After we collect these 5 crystals.
We can be back.
We could be. Probably will be. So we got 2 of our tablets. it's not really a question where we're going to go next. You can see our steamship currently was in the middle of the ocean real fast. So we got a hint for the Battle Castle Path to the Void. The first one in World 2 didn't actually give us anything, so we go to the Odin spot in World 3, which is also Battle Castle. And then I do want to
Clearly
do
this
almost
gives
everything.
a tablet. Are we missing any chaining key items? Yeah, Sandworm Bait, Big Bridge, couple.
Big
we got
Bridge
Sandworm
is
Bait.
the only one, yeah.
Clearly, we're going to go and get a tablet. So we know we just need Falls page for Go mode. And then every single remaining Path of the Void hint will be about stuff that you get from Falls.
Probably.
But in all likelihood, this is just the Falls page.
Which doesn't actually solve our problem. So,
It just means you're looking for a tablet instead of a page.
we're gonna try to dance. What's the worst that can happen? Nice. 17,000 HP goes to 0. Alright, so where in the world is our Falls page? Now, the smart thing to do would be to go to Trench and check the hints in Trench and maybe get an idea there. That doesn't seem exactly fun at this point. So we're going to do something a little bit first. We are going to
Are you going for a walk
I am going to go for a walk
with the bestest of chocobos?
with the best chocobo. We haven't seen Boko this seed. We are going to see plenty of Boko now. But not enough Boko. So, in the vanilla game, you may know that if you were to take Boko on a very long walk around the world, you get a Mirage Vest in Mirage Village. That is not something in this randomizer. That item is taken away. You would also know in vanilla that if you were to do, or were to accidentally enter the void before doing that, you no longer can get the Mirage Vest.
Also, like in vanilla, if you go the wrong way, you can get trapped here forever.
Yep. So,
Oh,
an
wait,
item
wait.
I've been... you can do it. In vanilla.
No, wait, the warp shard doesn't work. I forgot.
Nope. So yeah, we haven't really talked about it, but one of the things that's unique to this game and not in 4 or 6 is the item Warp Shard. It's basically an instant teleport from most screens back to the World Select screen, which is where I've been teleporting back and forth. So it's really nice because you're not worried about saves coming. It's not really a thing in Career Day. So it is a nice quality of life, and it does enable getting out of places faster. That would be really annoying. There isn't an exit spell. I mean, there technically is. It's stummied out because we have the Warp Shard. But we're going to do Boko's check. This is Boko's walk. Oh, I wish you were somewhere more difficult. Shame.
I'm still rooting for something behind that annoying Arcuavis.
Yeah, I kind of want to shove it off. Anyways, Calificer didn't actually open up with a wall, which is surprising, quite honestly. Totally unnecessary.
So what level did Caliphistry start at, may I ask?
68. And
Ah,
Calificery is the exact reason why I learned L2 Old Strats. Because I had to see where Calificery was at More Forest, and I had no damage other than exactly L2 Old and L5 Doom. And so I sat there with a Ram Watcher and figured out the timing for L2 Old and how run buffering works relative to battle speed and all that fun stuff. So we'll do the smart thing now. We'll go to Trench. hopefully we'll get no information whatsoever. I also forgot to check a couple NPCs in both Mukul Village and the Mirage Village, so I should go do that at some point and see what fun may possibly await us.
Hey, I wonder what level this thing is.
Level dead.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yep, Carl Boss is level 5. I think. Might be. Yeah, level 5. Adamant to me is level 20. So here
And
we
now
are.
we get the best shops in the game.
Yep, 2 tier 6 shops. It used to actually be the other way around, where Mirage was tier 6 and Trench was tier 5. That kinda was silly with the number of shops that are in Mirage. 8 shops versus 2. And so that got changed. Chest that no one knows existed. There's gotta be one in every Final Fantasy game. Like the Kefka Tower chest.
If we really want to talk about those chests, we should go to the shrine page.
Yeah, we could definitely take a look over there and go get the 2 chests that people would have no reason to know existed.
Ooh, flare. That's probably good, right?
Oh,
did we-
burning areas are barren.
Oh, shrine.
Oh.
Oh. I guess we're going
Oh,
to the shrine, Joe.
I'm sorry.
So that is no boat, essentially. We know that's going to contain the Falls page or our path to the Falls page. That's no fun. This is no fun either. I'm not using Giltoth strats. Okay, so if I wanted to, I have now completely trivialized Neo-X stuff. I have Samurai, which knows Giltoss, and I have Sing, that knows Hero Song. And so I can basically toss money at my problems, and Neo-X stuff would simply melt in about a minute. We're not, well, the entire fight would be about 3 minutes between starting it and ending it. We're not going to do that, because that's boring. Why would we ever want to do that in a marathon? So, my promise is that I will not use Giltoss.
So if you're not
I
going
will-
to use Giltoss, what will you use then?
The ability of not Samurai. I'm also doing Trench for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, I don't know.
We're here. Maybe it's a fun boss with a neat
Exactly.
trick,
Exactly. We gotta show it off.
like stalkers. Wait,
I
that's
would-
not fun.
If I'd mix, that'd be really fun to show off, but unfortunately I don't. Nope, it's just boring Ramu.
Goodbye. You can talk to us for a little bit.
Or
Ramu
I
suddenly
guess
realizes that I beat both Ifrit and possibly Shiva, but mostly Ifrit. Or Ifrit, if you want to do the FF12 pronunciation. So we're gonna head to the shrine. That's where almost certainly the falls page is, or the big bridge that leads to the falls page. So we're just gonna go ahead, beat some bosses. Do you have anything for us, Psychonaut?
You know what? Yeah, let me give you some more facts about Nami while we're hanging around here. Advocacy, education, support, and public awareness so that all individuals and families affected by mental illness can build better lives. Let me tell you about another thing they do. Recently, Nami released an application called Nami Say It Out Loud. It's a free virtual card game designed by young people for young people. Excuse me, that is intended to prompt important conversations about life, relationships, and mental health. Just some of the things that Nami does that your money is going towards. If you want to find out more information about that, head .org. That is nami.org. Once again, just a gentle reminder about our bid incentives and our stretch goal. If coming up later, we have a run of Metroid Dread, and you can choose the Pride missiles that are fired by Samus. You can give Metroid Dread a glow up and make Samus's missiles pride themed. Your choices are asexual pride, bisexual pride, genderqueer pride, non-binary pride, pansexual pride, pride flag, and trans pride. And also coming up later, we have the tree randomizer shuffler by Demarine 2, and you can choose the games that are picked. Currently, we have Final Fantasy 6, which I believe is Worlds Collide, but we'll double check that one for you. Zelda 1 randomizer and Zelda Pass randomizer in the lead. So those are the three that are going to be picked. But there is a little bit of time, but we are running out of time if you want to change those games around. Also on the table is Dragon Warrior 1 randomizer, Final Fantasy randomizer, and Final Fantasy 4 free enterprise. And don't forget, of course, our big stretch goal at $5,000. If we can hit that before the start of our Ocarina of Time randomizer crowd control race at the end of the day, we get to add a load of ice traps and we get to make Cubs Run fun, very fun. So if you want to contribute to that and help raise some much needed funds for the National Alliance of Mental Illness, ! Donate in the chat room will give you all the information you need to do so.
Perfect. So 2 chests in here that no one probably knows about unless they had a reason to. In that room in particular, I don't know why you would know those chests exist, but they do.
Why are there boxes in the wall?
Why aren't there boxes in the wall?
He's got a point. Also, the enhancer is really nice if I didn't already have a chicken knife. But I do.
And X-Fight. That was a good reward. You have Mystic Knight, a chicken knife, X-Fight. All you need is Flare Blade and damage.
A significant amount of damage, too. There is one monster in the box. There's my Icha shield.
Yay! If you had Bone Mail, you'd be able to go and have 1-in-1 and swap, and you'd be all fine and safe.
Sure, let's go with that.
I mean,
Bone
it
Mail.
requires Bone Mail for a 50,000 HP fight, but
I have Doom, so I could fully heal up anyone who wears a Bone Mail. 2 Aegis shields. That seems even better.
all is right in the world.
I am actually taking the time to put an Aegis shield on because they're so good. They're really cheap shields as well. But they are
Only
the best shield.
4,500 as opposed to 20,000 or more that you'll have to spend for the other good shield.
Yep, 40,000 to buy the elemental shields.
So why is Aegis Shield good?
Joe, you got this one?
There are... Well,
saw an
there's
application
reason
of it.
1. It can just block magic. Reason 2, immunity to stone. Those 2 reasons combine with its still being a reasonable shield, 33% block as opposed to the 40 or 50 you'll get 40 to 50 you'll get from the more shield-based shields. So still reasonably good physical defense, and combine that with the magic block chance, and you have a strong shield. Oh, Brave Blade. Neat.
You know what I'm not gonna equip?
The
Brave
Ragnaroks
Blade.
you didn't buy?
And the Brave Blade. If you want to miss a whole bunch, you put on the Brave Blade. Guaranteed to miss.
Guaranteed.
Or your money back.
I want my money back. I've hit with it.
Okay.
I mean, I was dancing, but I've hit with it.
Yeah, the issue is I don't have a setup that wouldn't require, that wouldn't just be fight.
No knight, no freelancer equals satire.
Most broken
there's
accessory
zero
in the
thing
game.
as sad times do not exist.
So, we've done some Worlds Collide in this Randothon, and running shoes, they are, not particularly powerful at all. but you want to explain a little bit about running shoes in FF5. It's pretty
They
apparent.
They are a source of auto haste, cannot be dispelled. They'll block stop, they'll block slow. I mean, the game doesn't think they're very good, but you go and equip them, and your speed and turns essentially just double. Real nice.
So this is our first Staffus moment of the entire seed.
Surely not. Like, we have Daphis in the party right now. Can't be the only Daphis moment.
So far.
Sure.
We might end up having, 50 or 40,000 of Leviathan.
I mean,
Vanilla
if we have
stalkers aren't too
any
bad.
sort of Bolt Blade, Bolt 2 Blade, Bolt 3 Blade.
Oh, Leviathan will just melt. Thankfully, because late Leviathan can very much be a problem.
Besides, Sleep Blade was a bit too much effort.
Yeah. It would have collapsed anyways, so... Well, no, it wouldn't have. It's all magic. X-Fight is very weird.
I mean, it looks really physical to me. Also, just hit the same thing target 4 times in a row.
Yay,
So,
we're
stalkers
through. Now please die.
are very broken. Just to show it off, they will
You're
be
dead.
dead, and they will still counterattack, and there is also a very good chance that they don't actually die. Because Stalkers is a wonderfully coded fight.
You'll mostly see them absolutely refuse to die when you go and... Well, one, if you go and, like, one-shot the first one, you still have to do any amount of damage to another one, but when you do enough damage, they don't want to fall down.
So I assume most of us have gotten charmed by Stalkers after killing Stalkers and have had problems with that. I know I have. It's really fun to think you've killed a boss of 40,000 or 50,000 HP, and then it just decides to kill you instead. And by fun, I mean, well, unfortunate. One thing I gotta do before going into the falls. Let's see. Do I remember where this NPC is? No.
It's down the stairs.
Yeah, that's right.
It. Oh wait,
Well,
it has sleep. Oh, it's doable.
it is. Thankfully, we have a wall ring. And we can put it to
Oh.
sleep.
You
So,
have
yes.
to go and sleep blade via a wall ring.
Oh no, I'm gonna X-Fight Sleep Blade and then reflect off.
Oh, and then
Arrow.
reflect arrow 3. Yeah.
So, Omega, the bane of most Final Fantasy 5 4-job runs.
You
Normally,
tripped.
normally
this-
the randomizer does randomize Omega's weaknesses entire battle script, so there's a good chance that Omega actually just kills us immediately after starting the fight. Nothing we can do about that, except try and try again until he doesn't immediately kill us. But it looks like, based on the weaknesses that we got from that NPC there, that it's going to be doable to actually beat Omega.
That's
Naturally,
not an insta-kill.
it is not.
Well, sorry. That's not AoE insta-kill.
Well, this can get interesting. Let's see how much this does. Okay, we're good. If I wanted to learn Arrow 3, if I didn't already have it, this would actually be a great fight to learn it, because that back guardian is going to use Arrow 3.
Oh no,
Rex
Rex.
was dead.
Anyway.
Anyways, somehow Lena's been surviving. This is unusual.
I'm telling you, it's position based. Those middle ones are cursed.
I think it's because Len has been named the hero of this, and therefore always has to survive.
That's true.
Except for
Weird.
the one fight that had a solo Ferris survive.
Yep. Oh, it's lucky, of course. She has to survive.
Oh hey, a Thor's hammer. Anyway.
Anyways, hammers. They exist to get sold. That's the short.
Where do you get
Sure.
Thor's hammer again?
In vanilla, pyramid? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Wow.
The
all my
game
life
rightly
version.
has the rune axe as one of the legendary weapons. It sure is legendary.
If you decide to basically abuse a mechanic that no one really should know about, but we'll find out anyways. Actually, never mind. It's very unlikely, because by the time you're able to get the rune axe, you don't have Galuf in your party. Spoiler alert, Galuf does die in the story. So you lose, and that big guard's huge, actually, the ability to do an easy underflow because of Galuf's very low magic base.
Don't you have to get the rare steel from Apocalypse?
Yes, you have to get the rare steel from Apocalypse in the Void to get the Giant's Glove so that you can underflow any other character not named Crow.
With the rune axe.
And have the
You-
Thornlet. So Big Guard, that casts Shell, Armor, and Float, will be used for sure. We've actually had no jobs that can equip a gold hairpin, which is unfortunate. Oh, so Sergeant in the back is level 0. Now,
Are we
Zero
saving
to-
the wolves?
I think we are going to save the animals, yes. So, level 0, if you divide 0 by 5, you get a remainder of 0, and that's all the game cares about. So, we kill off the Sergeant, we don't learn Deathclaw, sad, but the wolves escape. And we get our last tablet. So that is what we need to beat the game. Beat Neo Extef. Couple things I'm going to do.
Is it
No.
time to pay a visit to the Moogles?
No, I probably won't.
That's fair. Shinryu is he exists.
So I'm gonna grab a couple things from here. So again, if this were a race, then my end game would be completely trivial, because we have Giltos, and we have the ability to raise our levels. Like I said, we're not gonna do that. I don't want to. But I do want X magic here.
Hopefully we get Freelancer, Mime, Blue Mage. Oh wait, we found Blue Mage, didn't we?
Yep. I bought Blue Mage.
Wait, Blue Mage can't equip the hairpin?
Oh, yeah, no, it can. Never mind. I just haven't been bothering to put it on. You're right.
I mean, it's not like we're in any danger of really dying here, right? Like, we seem to be super overpowered.
Yeah, so one of the big things about not only the EXP change, but the jobs that I've been doing other than White Mage is that they have a decent amount of HP growth behind Mystic Knight and Trainer. So our HP levels are very high relative to what we need, and we have Big Guard, which also improves our situation by quite a bit. And apparently now we have Summoner.
Let's just say they sure aren't red mage.
So the other thing that we could have done to beat XDef and Neo XDef, quite simply, is again raise our levels. It's going to be a common theme here, and then use X Magic Summoner, and basically Sildra spam the end. And that would also very much take care of Neo XDef without any thinking. And
What can we do if we don't want to raise our levels?
You could still do the same thing. It just would take slightly longer and be slightly more dangerous, although with Big Guard, probably not really that dangerous. The unfortunate reality of Career Day, I find, is in most games, the final fight is going to be a pretty big afterthought. Which is unfortunate.
It's really scary until you come in with a plan.
If you don't know how to handle Neo XDef, it can get very, very rough very quickly. Because if you don't understand what the script is doing, well, you can find yourself eating 3,000 damage AoE.
That seems like a lot.
It is. The big thing about Neo XF, and we'll talk a little bit about this when we get into the fight, is that if you leave a single body part alive, and the body parts have 50,000 to 55,000 and a 60,000 HP part, you start getting double turns that can cast anything from Almagus, which will do 1,600 holy AoE damage, to Medio, to more Medio, and it will get double turns. Now, this has had consequences in relative 4 job runs as well, where XDef has had some issues medioing the party and has actually decided to medio itself because of targeting. So Final Fantasy V is a, finely coded game.
How?
Yeah.
Wait,
It happened to run one year. Don't ask.
ooh, Mirage Vest.
Yep, that is going on you. Alright, so here's Omega. He is someone who exists. I could keep you on summon, but might as well just do this. And we have you.
If only there was an air spell blade.
Actually, can blue magic be reflected? I don't remember. We're gonna find out. I think so. Alright, good target, good target.
If you... Bye, Daphis. So, have you won the fight yet? Because Sleep in 5, it never wears off, if I recall.
Yeah,
until you do a physical.
Attack. Yep. So yeah, sleep. Having a mega weak to sleep is pretty much a cheat code. You can also have a mega weak to zombie, and that's always really interesting if you come in with a Laurel Ring and he decides to zombie himself.
I mean, Omega weak to stop is also a cheat code.
Yes, if you have Luxon. Which, he is in vanilla. If you have Bard, Omega is free. Most jobs in 5 are completely broken. Just the reality
Would
of it.
X-Fight wake him up? even though we have Sleep Blade with the X fight?
So, the sleep interaction of Magic Sword is very, very awkward. To the point where the answer to that question is maybe.
I love hearing maybe. That sounds inconsistent.
Welcome to Final Fantasy V.
We love the game.
I could have just as easily taken like 20 resets on Omega. Getting single target flare is by far the best thing that Omega could have done, because he could have opened with any number of AoE attacks in the beginning, which would wipe my party, almost certainly.
I mean, could he have single target flared at Rex and had it reflected back at him?
Could have done that too.
It would have been funny.
But yeah, Omega, any AoE that's coming from Omega is level 120, which almost seems great, except the issue is, well, around level 120. He has auto reflect on, so you can't L5 Doom, which is why I put on the wall ring, so that I can reflect arrow 3s off the old man who probably shouldn't be alive at this point in the story.
Don't worry about it.
I mean, it's not like if Final Fantasy V is all about dealing with willing to sacrifice yourself for the good of of other things. No, it's not about that at all.
No, it's about Boko's adventures in saving the world. You don't see Boko because he's off screen most of the time, but I guarantee you the work that he is doing is very important.
If it weren't for Boko, we wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
I mean, if it wasn't for the cutscene skip, you would probably found out, he's settled himself down. Oh hey, we've ruined being Omega.
Yay! Look at all that ABP. So the other thing that Ferrerde does is make sure that Omega does not move. You can imagine, if you've played Vanilla, how much of a pain it would be to go through a race and have Omega basically decide that he wants to fight you over and over and over again. So without Omega moving, it at least makes sure that that doesn't happen. Hey, more fun.
Ugh. Uh-oh. Well, we have Arrow 3.
Yep, I have Area 3. In fact, I have even more fun than that.
You do?
I do. I believe I am currently wielding a power staff. I'm gonna bonk this old man with a power staff. He is gonna go berserk. Word of warning to people who haven't done this. A mission will hit like a truck.
Where's our golem?
Don't worry about it.
I'm worrying about it.
He only has 24,000 HP here.
We have running shoes and a Mirage vest. We're
I
fine.
just don't
but
want you to hit Rex. Okay, good. You didn't hit Rex. That was the important part here.
Wait, why Rex?
He's a white mage right now.
you can cast life. Oh, dispel.
Fun fact, he's no longer berserked. Anyways. Doesn't really matter.
Ah, if only that was Mino. And then we all know where the Holy would go.
Yes. We haven't seen Minotauros yet. So I expect him to show up. But we got a few more bosses here to play around with as well. So we're making pretty good time. Going to land pretty close to estimate, which is sort of the goal here.
Are we going to Shinryu?
Depending on the time, we might give it a shot. My XDEF might take a while because of the strat I want to use, so I might not bother.
Okay, fair enough.
Alrighty, let's see who this next boss is after picking up what is definitely going to be downgraded.
No, I'm glad we are going to be sort of reasonable within estimate. That way, Allie doesn't have cause to commit, to seek all of us out. Freddy, you are saved for another day. Hey,
Yay,
it's
Freddy.
Timmy. As I mentioned before, Admin Timmy is level 20. So it turns out, again, level 20 is perfectly divisible.
Well,
You know-
convenient.
We have one more Greg in the pool.
Greg
Where
3,
could-
Greg 3. Do we have a way of casting Doom, or would we just go the damage version?
I mean, we do, but I have 3 Boom Mage users. So why would I use Doom?
No, you're
Oh,
attacking
Greg 3
Golem.
is...
How could you? You never get the goal. Oh wait, never mind.
Fortunately, I don't have Break on me. Kind of sad. So Bone Dragon can be broken, except I don't have a way to actually inflict Break because I haven't bothered changing from 3 Blue Mages, essentially.
But the HP is split amongst Bone Dragon and the other dragon.
Yep, 10,000 HP each.
Talking about Greg 3 has gotten Big Bridge stuck in my head.
Good. Now, which version of Big Bridge is it?
A reasonable one.
Oh, so the record keeper version. Nice.
Oh man, Theater Rhythm. It's been a while since I've played it. What a game. What a chart. That's something we should be playing.
Unfortunately, you're currently in the middle of a randomizer run right now for a marathon, so I don't think it's a good idea for you to play it right now.
Debatable.
I'm sure it could be figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Void's been cooperating.
I mean, at this point, we are more than endgame levels. Hey, it's Leviathan. That was a mistake. I meant to press up there. Oops. So Leviathan can be very rude. We'll see what he does. I don't really want to cast Arrow 3 here. That just opens up for tidal
Yeah, I
wave
was
counter.
wondering about that.
We got White Wind. Do we have Bolt 2? That will work.
Yay, our damage is going to skyrocket.
Ooh, we hadn't showed this off. Oh wait, that actually kills the bolt. So, Super Nintendo version of Final Fantasy V is a finely coded game. The Mirage Vest is extremely broken. Does anyone want to explain why?
Yeah, so it's a source of blink, you equip it, people punch you, the blinks go away. Easy, simple. Well, for whatever reason, if you go into your item menu and pretty much mess around at all, swap weapon out, run through, the game kind of just takes a look at your equipment and just sort of resets it, which has the effect of resetting the auto blink. Real handy and allows you to just sort of reapply the blink over and over.
Yeah, it's really silly. That's about, that's about the best way to put it. It is very, very, very silly.
It almost makes some sense if you think about it as the game just looking at your equipment when you readjust your inventory. Almost.
But yeah, like for there, I just took 2 items in my inventory, I swapped them around, and that was all I needed to do. I'm going to check for my Aegis shields. I'm going to I have them on 2 characters, and this is our second Daphis.
Our second final boss. Do we have Holy Blade?
No, I don't. I didn't
Oh.
pick it up. I know where it was, but I never picked it. So, Twintania is at the Twintania spot. If you don't know the mechanic, this can actually be a pretty rude boss. But just like Carbuncle, you can cheese it all you want. It's going to get 5 attacks off here. It's going to end with 2 wind slashes, which are just fractionals. And then after the 5th attack, Twintania is going to charge up Mega Flare or Giga Flare. And be weak
Giga
to
Flare.
basically
Mega Flare is
everything.
reflectable.
Yep. Twintania then sets her status to basically be weak to everything known in the game, and is also level 5 divisible, so as long as you wait the appropriate amount of time of the 5 or the 5 commands, and then wait for the phase to change, which I did using the cursor trick, yeah, that's pretty much all you need. Then you just cast Shout, you can cast Slash, you can cast L5 Doom, you can cast X Zone, you can cast a whole number of things, and be free to fight. And if you're lucky enough, you can get a Murasame out at the end of it.
Is that lucky?
I mean, depends on who you ask.
What about a
It's-
Tinkerbell? Or do you have to go out of your way and steal that one?
Do I even have haste? Be nice. I have haste too, cool. Alright. This could take a while, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go and do this. So I had mentioned something about the Aegis shields and why I particularly wanted to have them. There is something in Final Fantasy V known as the equipment status glitch, which all that means is if you have a status that is gotten, that you have, basically in one fight, it lasts for one fight longer than you would expect. So, I had Lena, Hero, and Ferris, Lucky, wearing Aegis shields in the last fight. So, if I were to take off the Aegis shields and put them on my other 2 members, that is Bartz and Delph, who is still alive, they now have the Aegis shield protection on Whitehole, which casts both Petrify and Instant Death at the same time. Now, I haven't been in another fight, so Lena and Ferris are still also immune to those same status effects. So right now, my party is effectively completely immune to Whitehole and Petrification, which is very important when it comes to X stuff.
Do we have Speed Song?
I do have Speed Song, yes.
Yay.
I'm white.
All the singing.
No, I do have summon. Okay, that should be fine. Someone has. Nope. Someone gets a hairpin. Who had time? I hadn't been paying too much attention. Lana, you have time. You get the running shoes. Everyone else just gets elf capes. So, I mentioned before that it is particularly boring to just skill toss your problems away, or even summon your problems away, both of which would be trivial fights. We're going to do something a little bit different that I don't think I've ever really showed off on, certainly not in a race, it takes way too long. I don't think I've shown it off in a marathon either. So I'm glad I get to show it off here. I didn't get to show off the menu boss glitch at Archeo Aethys and More Forest. You can tell because Caliph is still alive. But we're going to show off how to kill New X-Def basically all at once using blue magic. by liking the game considerably. Or that stuff.
It'll only chug. It'll only drop to like a frame a second.
This is probably the only time you're going to see me run buffer L2 old into L5 Doom. Because Neo XF is a complicated fight filled with a couple of dummy targets. Here's the Shinryu chest. We are not opening it.
Oh, that's a shame.
I know, right?
Quick.
Hey, you
The
use
quickest
quick.
way to use your MP.
Yep.
I mean, that's Phoenix, but quick, double cast quick and Phoenix into Phoenixes is how you use your MP.
So, XDEF, millions of evil souls trapped into a tree. That is essentially the story.
The tree's also human.
Yes. So, what do we want to do? We're going to toss on you. We're going to sing the heroes. Well, how do I want to do this? So we do Vitality. That's going to cast Regen on my party. That's just going to be able to tell me when I'm going to be maximum level. And the only reason I really care about level is because the accuracy of magic is fully dependent on what levels you are relative to what you're trying to target. Neo XF parts have quite high levels, even compared to the level 42 that I currently am at. So I don't really want to deal with that. So we're just going to cast Hero Song. And we're just going to sit here for a little bit. You're going to see these numbers tick up. Probably about to 250, 260. That will be when I enter max level. Then I'm going to do the most painful part, which is hopefully hit Bart's out of Sing. And then we'll get started on the blue magic strats of Neo X or XDEF and Neo XDEF. XDEF is level 77, so for the first time I'm going to cast Dark Shock. Dark Shock does divide the enemy's level by 2, and it has a floor function associated with it. So in 77, we divide that by 2, that is 33.5, or 76. I can't do math right now, or 33.5.
38.
38, yeah. 38.5, sorry. Which then rounds down to 38. And then you do an L2 old, and then you get to level 35 and cast L5 Doom. So that's going to be the plan here. So it's a little bit of waiting. I'm also going to knock and probably get some Speed Song going as well. My numbers do not appear to be going up, so it seems like we are at maximum level. And now we get to try to hit Bart's.
He only has an elf cape and a shield. The elf cape it might just be doing the animation for the elf cape, because I'm pretty sure that's just a 33% chance.
The shield doesn't help either. Also gonna get the Speed Song going. We'll wait the same amount of time. This just is gonna make it faster. The big guard is going to be key here. And so, before I start with Neo X stuff, to explain, there are 4 actual parts of Neo X stuff. There's the back part that you can condemn if you really wanted to. That would be level 86. You have All My Guest that does 1600 damage, holy AoE. Big Guard will cut that in half. That is level 67. You have the physical part in front, that is level 81. And you have the Grand Cross part in the middle that will inflict random status effects every once in a while. That's level 83. You can knock down Grand Cross by Mind Blast. That way it won't get a turn. You can Break Blade, All My Guess, you can Condemn or Instant Death with the Magic Lamp. The back part and then the physical part is not really a problem. Again, that's all good, well, but we're not going to do any of that. Because again, it's boring, it's easy, it's trivial. We're going to try to kill all 4 parts of Neo XF at the exact same time, which requires me to do 12 Dark Shocks into an L2 old, into an L5 Doom. This gets really tricky, especially because I forgot to set the battle speed to, 1, which might cause a little bit of problems here too. This may also require me to do some fusion tossing as well and sort of get my MP back. So the other thing I want to do, if we have the ability, is to cast Slow.
That's the best status effect. That's the best sound effect in the game.
Brain Demi. Alright, so we were pretty started off with a good start here. We've missed one Dark Shock. Great. So... disadvantage of Speed Song is that I can't see my ticks, which is why I need to run buffer it. Or I should have.
There we
Best
go.
try every time.
This is why
Time to learn about Void.
this is why I'm run buffering the end. Because I can't see the if you can look at our ATP bar, we're going a little bit too fast to see 3 ticks go by. Now, unfortunately, this means I get to do more run buffering because I use Battle Speed 3 and a Battle Speed 1. And all Battle Speed does in this game, unlike Final Fantasy VI, it basically dictates how long it takes for ATB to start once a animation or something is completed. So Battle Speed 1 is the fastest, Battle Speed 6 is very, very, very slow. We're default on Battle Speed 3. So here is Neo X stuff. This is where the Aegis Shields comes in handy and the status glitch because, well, the back part can use Delta attack, and that's not fun. So I have to be mindful of Grand Cross at the top here. But we're going to try. We want to get 2 Dark Shocks on Almagest immediately, or at least 1. And this is with level boosting. Okay, we got 1. Now, if you're looking to make this really easy, you don't have to go through 12 Dark Shocks, you only have to go through 4. But you want to get simultaneous kills at that point. I want Mind Blast real fast. Make sure that Grand Cross does not go off. So once you hit it once, it should theoretically be faster to hit it a second time. He says, as it doesn't happen, And you can see that Speed Song as well, how many actions I'm taking. We still haven't even gotten to shaking on all my guests yet. Welcome to why I don't do this very often. Alright, that's 2, and now we begin the other parts. Might blast.
So how many Dark Shocks did you need to land again? Was it 12?
I need to land 12 total. I need to land 5 on both of the top parts. I landed already enough on Almagest.
Okay.
This is actually very bad luck for the fact that I'm max leveled.
Although I suppose once you land the first one, the next one was meant to get, as you said, make it subsequently easier.
It should. Although the fact that I'm max level probably makes it not entirely true. Okay, so there's one thing I want to take a note of. I have 2 elixirs, okay.
And I also saw a bunch of ethers as well, if that's relevant.
Yep. I mean, I have fusion for a reason. That's 3. Take the Almagest here. So, fusion cycling. Yeah, let's use the elixir. Make it easy on myself. Two more on the front. Eventually. I'm surprised
Yeah,
the universe
so
hasn't. Nothing.
Without shell, it would have done about 800 or so damage. So it does, once we half quartered its levels, about half the damage.
Sweet, one more.
On that part.
Yeah, I know. But
Are you saying it doesn't do much to block the physical damage? So we're going for our 3rd Dark Shock on this top one?
no, 5th.
Or-
This is our
fifth.
5th.
Yep. Man, this is not getting lucky at all. Actually, horrendous. There we are.
Okay.
So now
5 more
that
to
part
go.
is level 5. So now we got the Grand Cross. That's 1. I have 1 ether. 40.
Well, 40 is like free cast at least, so you know there's that.
Dude, I'm worried about having the MP to cast L2 and L5 Doom at the end of this. Because of how long this is taking. Alternatively, I could actually just L5 Doom right now and be fine.
But gotta go for it, right? We only need to get land 3 more.
Oh, I know. We're being right on estimate anyways. 2 more. I'm gonna have to do another round of fusion cycling, that's annoying. Which is F2. You can fusion yourself.
Apparently.
Am I 3 or 4?
Or you want one more.
Okay. No, we don't need it. Oops. These 2. I don't know why I did that.
You want to have the cutscenes to be
Dude,
make sure
Haste
no
2
one's
doesn't even do anything. Look at how the ATB bar is starting. Alright. Give me 1 more, please. We can do it. Ah, come on. Alright.
Alright.
So we're gonna do a Mind Blast here. We're gonna let this Omega go off. Because it's gonna interrupt things. Whatever. Okay. So I am gonna hold L2 old. That's gonna hold the bottom 2 parts. And I'm just gonna hold run at the same time. Or run after the L2 old comes out. And then because I forgot to put my battle speed into battle speed 1, I get to count a while. So hopefully... Huh. What did L2 hit?
I'm not sure.
Interesting. How? Well, that's interesting. I mean, part of it could have been the run buffering and not being in battle speed 1, which is what I normally do the strat in. Alright, you know what? There's an easy way to do this. I tried. I'd never practiced this, so...
Oh, it was worth a shot. It would've been really spicky if you actually managed to get it to work, so... that's
yeah... Okay. That's a bit weird, but it's fine.
Actually, hypothetically speaking, if they're all level 1, would another Dark Shock put them to 0 or 1?
No, it's floored at 1.
Ah, okay.
Huh. Ah, the laws of physics are broken.
What does it actually do? I had no idea.
It is the Grand Cross charge.
Declaring that if you don't stop that piece now, you're about to trigger an unknown amount of status effects.
Which is not what I want to see. So, the boring way.
Unfortunate.
Unfortunate. Do I have... I think I can just do this. I tried.
So I guess the only thing that's left is the top part, because he also did so much damage with all the mind blasts.
Yeah, I mean, the important thing in a normal one is just to make sure that the Grand Cross part is the last one open. Because otherwise you'll get those double turns. Whatever.
But definitely deserves to be. Oh, okay, you're about to raise him. That's fine.
Just to kill him off again. Oh wait, no, that was the wrong character. Whoops. Awkward.
At least we didn't use all of our Phoenix downs.
That would be not great. Okay, let me do this.
So just to recap
I've
what Fusion
been
does.
playing too much Final Fantasy VI.
Alright, but just to recap what Fusion does to answer chat, Fusion essentially trades a person's life for, he basically gives someone essentially an elixir. So it's a way to install MP at a cost of 7 MP to cast a spell, plus, I guess a way to revive someone. So I guess in a way you get to go, you can never, if you've got the resources, you can never die. Well,
Yep.
permanently anyway.
So I've been playing too much Final Fantasy VI where I tried to press R. Whoops.
That is not how you AoE Tier 3.
I wonder if I just got my levels mixed up between the top two as I normally do when I don't look it up. Totally possible.
Math is hard.
Don't do math on stream, folks. It's bad. Ow. I hope you're not dead yet.
And now you Mind Blast into victory.
Not all the time. 3 Arrow 3s and 1 Mind Blast will work. We're so fast. Although I should switch who's doing the Arrow 3s, because one costs a lot less MP than the other. Important thing is to just not have Grand Cross take a turn. Because Grand Crosses taking a turn would not be great for us. But it's a trivial fight.
Because it would no longer do Grand Cross.
Alright, GG's.
GG.
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 Well, I would have been right on time if I hadn't messed up that L5 Doom. Haha, math. Oh well. Promised Ali I wouldn't be that far underestimate, so I made my promise true. No, but I do want to thank,
That's-
obviously, Randothon for letting us show that off. It's a shame that I didn't get the last show off, but it'd be like that sometimes. I don't know if our commentators, Infinius and Joe, obviously, thank you both for joining me in the booth. Joe, I know it's early for you. Infinius, I know it's pretty late for you. Do you have any final words?
Thanks for having us. It was lots of fun. I do enjoy doing commentary for Career Day, and it's always fun to show just what you can do with the game. So it was lots of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and hope you you're okay with me answering my silly questions.
It's always a pleasure. But with that, I know I went over estimate. So, with that, I think it's time for me to let Free Enterprise enter the booth. Ali, I see, is in Green Room 1. So, I want to thank you all, certainly, for both Infinius, Joe, and myself, for letting us show off Career Day. And with that, I hope you have the rest of a great final day of Randothon. Obviously, Nami is a great cause. Go donate. There are lots of fun incentives to go and bid on. So, go ahead and get your donations in. And I wanted to thank you again.
Awesome. Well, GG's once again to Fiery for that excellent race there, and thank you to both Infinius and Joe for joining them in the booth. Be sure to give all of them a follow. Great run by everyone involved there. Once again, folks, you are watching Randothon, the 2024 Randothon, Randomizers for Mental Health in aid of the National Alliance of Mental Illness. Real quick, I just want to give a quick shout out. We have a $7 donation from Aaron Lore, who doesn't want to see more Final Fantasy IV, also MB Pride. That donation, of course, went towards the bid war we have going on for the 3 randomizer shuffler happening later on. Currently in the lead is Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise, Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, and Zelda 1 randomizer. Actually, there's a 3-way tie for Final Fantasy VI, Legend of Zelda, and LTPR. So if you want to go in and break that up and maybe decide what it would help if I could speak, I beg your pardon, and decide what games Demarine has to play through later on, now's a good time to do so. Also, I do want to draw your attention, time is very quickly running out to get your contributions in for the Metroid Dread Pride Missiles bid war that's going on there. We are going to be closing that up during the next run. All the options will show up on your when you make your donation. !donate in the chat will be how to do that. As mentioned, coming up next, we have got Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise with Ali Sale. We're going to take a very quick break. I'm going to run some ads. Everybody get up, stretch, hydrate, sustain, and all that good stuff. And we'll be back to you very shortly.